Web3 TV.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another interview at the Game Expo Dubai 2025. I'm Adele, the host. We have a special guest with us, Kevin Soltani, who has been on my podcast, and we've met many times at networking events. He joins us today. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Much love, bro. Much love. We're here. This is my first time at PG Connect.
Yep.
A couple times at Game Expo, but we've never met at a gaming conference.
True.
It's always been the blockchain Web3 stuff.
Always.
So let's get into the gaming stuff.
First off, you got to show me that jacket. Flex that right now.
No.
Are you a Web3 maxi?
Am I a Web3 maxi?
Yeah.
I'm a Bitcoin maxi.
Right here.
So this is Web3 TV.
Right.
I have fun with you guys. I'm not that quiet, like no BS guy. Listen, what Web3 do we have here today? You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right here. This is the kind of guy we need. So I got a question. I've been interviewing lots of people here.
Yeah.
Why aren't they integrating blockchain yet?
Why aren't they?
Yes.
Because they don't understand it. Mm-hmm. They think it's too big to fail. They think it's too difficult to implement. They think it's scammy crypto. Mm-hmm. They think it's tokenized assets that are NFTs only. They think that they can't use it for security purposes. You know, all the things that blockchain offers has nothing to do with what's being built right now. We don't have a good example out there. So how are they supposed to feel good?
Right.
In America, we say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
Well, that's kind of Web2 gaming or gaming in general. GTA 6 is about to come out. Okay, all the money, blah, blah, all that stuff. But why would they implement blockchain? Why do they need to implement a token? They don't.
They don't.
So why would these indie guys or anybody in this wonderful room do it? Number one, they don't understand it. That's not a dig. That's just facts.
Yeah.
Number two, they don't really need a tokenized economy. And number three, blockchain has an upfront cost. Most people got so used to ongoing operational costs that they don't think, okay, let me just spend a chunk of money now, put my stuff, my game on the blockchain, and I'll never have to do it again. I just optimize it throughout. So aimbots are a problem for cheaters in Call of Duty and games like that. If the future Call of Duty was on the blockchain, there would be no such thing as cheats that are using aimbots to hit 100% kill shots on the headshots and things like that. So, but they don't understand that.
They don't understand it.
What do you mean my game has to go on a tech and it's got to be underlined by security? It's like, whoa. It's like, bro, you're spending more money developing your crazy games, not thinking about the cheats and the scams. And then a bad news comes out and everybody jumps ship. So that's where the blockchain tech comes in. They just don't understand it.
I hope that the GTA 6, as you mentioned and you alluded to, will be the first point in time where adoption into Web3 comes in. What do you make of that?
Okay, they're not going to do it right off the bat. Or else they would have announced it right now. What's in their benefit to hold that close to the chest? They're the biggest game anyway. They're the biggest producer.
And they'll sell out overnight.
They're going to sell out overnight and make every penny back within seconds. Quite literally within seconds. So everyone's crazy if they think they've overspent. You just don't understand economies of scale.
Right.
You know, but the Web3 point is a wonderful tool that they can use after they launch. Now, this is very unpopular of an opinion from someone being in blockchain for 14 years, what I'm about to say. But I've been begging gaming projects. I've been begging good blockchain projects that want to tokenize or have tokens. I've been begging them to push back TGE. I'm saying not when TGE, when more users, when more revenue.
Community first.
But most investors in the game, the VCs, like when TGE, because it's two words, exit liquidity. Yeah, no that they want to have their tokens liquid. But look at what happens in the chart. No one knows anything about tokenomics because they don't hire the right quants. No one knows anything about blockchain because they haven't given the time to benefit from the infrastructure layer of L1, L2s, L0s even. And yet they're implementing these things, tokenizing it, launching
Way too early.
Way too early for tokens.
There's no market fit for it.
There's companies still using the word coin, right? They just don't understand their markets.
Right.
We're on Web3 TV here.
Yeah.
Web3 does not just mean tokens, blockchains. You could just go after the community. You can use the wonderful protocols like Solana's community has the capital and the followers. Now start building good products, tokenize later, drop your token later, when revenue, when customers, when retention. These are all boring stuff. People are going to flame me in the comment section because, okay, boomer. Yeah, we get it, boomer. Yeah, okay, well, guess what? The boomers are running the show, and
Yeah,
Silicon
they
Valley
do.
still runs the world.
They call the shots.
So why don't you build for them? Why don't you build with them? Why don't you build for something that might IPO rather than TGE? Those 3 letters, TGE, token generation event, or IPO, initial public offering. Learn the differences. Obviously very different. But why aren't we moving toward a sophisticated, financially driven, backed an IPO system? When TGE, when token, 80% of the supply is in the 10% of the hands. And they have the least amount of lockups. These are all very unpopular opinions, but someone's got to say it. And at some point, we're going to have a flippening, and it's going to be out of our hands. And Silicon Valley and Google and everybody is going to be way more of a participant than any of us.
But question, if you integrate like crypto into it, don't you get another layer of regulation on top of you on your ass?
100%. And worst one in the world, which everybody knows, is like the MiCA regulation in Europe. Not because it's a worst one. It's because Europe doesn't need that type of regulation right now. They need the freedom. They need free markets. They need to go. Now, in crypto, it's very tough to combine free markets and crypto, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of bad people doing bad things. But some things like MiCA regulations at a time when innovation was is being stunted, and they add a layer of complexity of the regulations, no one's interested to sell to Europe anymore.
No.
I'm American. We've been dealing with this for the longest time. If you raise money, it usually says we cannot accept money from American investors in crypto. All right, but now people are doing that to Europe. And so gaming companies, which are inherently very strong in Europe, Berlin is a mecca for gaming. But why would gaming tokens want to now sell in Europe? Because they have to, there's a loot box problem. You can look it up. They banned that, I believe, in the UK a couple of years ago. Then you had the now token stuff, which is through MiCA. And yet you have these, 500 million people, mostly gamers, and you got the mecca of gaming in Berlin for esports, yet none of it's being able to communicate with Web3.
Right.
Because of the tokens, because of
massive
the
disconnect right here.
Why would you do that?
Right.
You know, at a time when innovation should have been at the forefront. So we consult companies. I help them to try to work around these. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a token and you're going to have an off-ramp from whatever token to euro, you're going to need MiCA regulations. In this country, we have VARA.
True.
VARA's more at the big boy table, as I call it, the exchange level. But MiCA with 26 nations, 26 languages, it's like, why would you do that?
Right.
At this time.
Right.
Right? And so you're really stunting innovation. And then we're at a Games Expo. All those wonderful games, they're going to brain drain out. You're going to lose them. Look at the UK. They're going to brain drain out. Not just the money, but the
They're just
talent.
going to move out and relocate.
And it's funny how like America for the longest times had to deal with that. And now EU's having to deal with that. I never saw that coming.
Look at the turbos, how they turn.
Yeah, I never saw that coming.
Crazy. We could go on forever on this.
Yeah, well, you got me fired up.
I love it. I love your energy. But we'll leave it there. And for those watching, where can they get in touch with you and the company you work for?
So for the purpose of this beautiful conference, we're at EGA.GG, which is Esports and Gaming Association. It's not an association. We're associates around the world. Whereas, again, Americans like to create these groups of umbrellas.
Right.
We do a lot of work with consulting. We invest, we advise, we consult, and we're really passionate about expansion.
Awesome.
Into the UAE and out of the UAE.
Awesome.
Working a lot with Vietnam, working a lot with Los Angeles. These are our 3 hubs: Dubai, Los Angeles, Vietnam. There's a lot to go on there. I'm all over. I like to say that I'm a regulated markets guy, right? I've IPO'd some companies. You know what kind of audits I've had to go through? So no one in crypto can pass an audit, all right?
Right.
Follow me on LinkedIn because that's the only real audited place without
bots.
Well, super liars there too.
Right,
but Instagram, my name, Kevin Soltani. It'd be an honor to assist, add value in every type of business that you guys do.
Absolutely. We'll leave all the links in the below. So thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Much love. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this insightful. We'll leave all the links in the description so you can check out Kevin Soltani's profile. Be sure to follow him. Thank you again. I'm Adele, the host, and I will see you next time. Cheers.